For the next few Mondays, we'll be just working probably more from the bottom half of the body. So we're going to start with your feet and work your way up. It'll be foot release and Achilles and calves. So a wonderful way just to do a short 15-minute class. Maybe at home you would take longer, spend longer doing this, but you'll get great results. So underneath your right foot first. Begin with the ball underneath the ball of the big toe, and strip. When you're stripping the foot, you do it slowly, and notice, like, still think of your posture, everybody. So when you're leaning the weight into the ball, bend your right knee, stay in alignment, and then press down into it. So very slowly, it's like you're dragging the ball, and you curl your foot around the ball. If there's a spot that you find that is really tender, you can stay there, like just stay there. And notice when you stay on a trigger point, and it's slightly different for everybody, so I can't tell you all exactly where it is. If you're wondering if you're on the spot, then you're not on the spot. Yeah. So you know, you go, oh, that is it. Like, I see it in your face and body. So when you're there, when you're there, you got to try and relax into it, because the temptation is to hold the foot tight. But take a breath in and notice if you can just try and surrender into it. It actually starts to ease a little. Sometimes you get like referral up through the leg, and then maybe just start to shift a little more. So now I'm sort of at the middle of my inner medial part of my foot. Keep going. It just gets better and better, doesn't it? Just when you think you're in a trigger point, you find a lot more. There are so many in your feet. So this is why releasing your feet is such an effective way to begin. Lots of fascia and lots of webbing underneath your foot. And we're trying to create this sort of blood flow and break up all these fibrous bits that are stuck together. So keep traveling down, try and get to your heel soon, inner heel. It's a little hard sometimes to try and like really keep on the inner heel, but put the ball of your right foot down and now press down directly down onto the ball and try and get to the inner heel a bit more. Good. And then play around with the heel. So now like move to the outer heel and just kind of poke around and see if there's some tender spots there. You might need to come in a bit closer so you're a bit more balanced over your right heel. I'm always amazed, like when I massage people's feet, how tight their heels and all the webbing and fascia around their heels are. It's a big attachment area. All right, when we strip back, we're going to go through the middle. So from the heel to the second and third toe. So go back and pause in the middle. There is a really good spot there, everybody. And work your foot stretch. So curl your feet. Often in Pilates, I'm saying like a bird on a perch. Like really curl and get that curl of your feet. So sometimes at home, like if you have a smaller ball, like a golf ball, or even a smaller one, I've got these brutal little balls, and you can actually strip between each of the like the toes, and the smaller the ball and the harder it is, the deeper it is. And that's not always right for everyone. Like you could go a tennis ball to make it a little softer. So don't think that creating a great deal of pain is the best thing. You want to try and relax into it as much as possible. So now coming back to sort of almost finishing off that middle strip. And when you land with your heel, push down into the top of your, like spread the ball of your feet. Spread. And this is where having a little ball is quite nice to get more spread after being squashed in shoes. Good. All right. So now your last strip, I'll turn around, is from the little toe down the outer heel of the foot. Like I said, it's kind of hard sometimes. The ball might roll away, but push down onto it. There. Yeah. So so great, isn't it? Like often you might grab a ball and you see people sort of like doing a lot of this stuff. That can kind of feel nice, but it's not as effective as doing it slow and finding the deep trigger points and then just pausing on them. Good. All right. So I'm going to go all the way down to the outer heel now. Keep going down. So what I wanted to do today is just work with the right leg for half of the class and then see how it feels, and then we'll swap sides. So for your Achilles, and I realize like we're keeping it short, so I want you to quickly come into your Achilles now. Take a seat down. So working your Achilles, sometimes I find having a yoga block helps. So your Achilles, it's different. Like I'm not going into here. I want you to work around there. So place the weight of your right foot on Achilles on there and roll your thigh bone out. We talked about this in class, like this external rotation. Now lift the weight of your leg up and your whole body up. And think about your shoulders here, so you're not hanging, like lift up and just strip. Now only come halfway up. So you're keeping it in this groove there. So the edge of your Achilles there and your calves. And you're going into it like transversely, like from the side, because the ball would roll off if you went into it there. So we're going to do the leg turned out, find the spot, and then the foot turned and the leg turned in. No, it's excruciatingly painful. But also I think it's always so interesting. For one leg it can be the outer, and for one leg it can be the inner. All right, now roll your leg inward and now try that same thing. So now I'm stripping up the inner bit here. So like I said, we're working our way up the leg. Just depends how long it takes. So next week, you know where we will be next. Calves. Mm-hmm. It's good, isn't it, everyone? Imagine a golf ball in there. All right, so just notice, like check to yourself, like did one side feel, like was it worse on my right outer or my right inner? So this body awareness to check. I'm mirroring you, so I realize when I stand, I'm on the wrong leg. Stand up. Before we change sides, just walk on your feet. Yeah, maybe like circle through your ankle. Just notice like, and maybe like do some foot stretches, just play around and notice maybe how that ankle feels, how that foot feels. It's amazing, really. It's incredible. All right, let's even you out, everyone. So let's find out what your left foot is like. So remember, you start on the heel down, the ball under the big toe, and you strip. And at home, like you might feel like, you know, the one that you needed the most was maybe just the inner. So you can play around with this at home. This is a great exercise to do like regularly. Don't save it up for Monday mornings. Okay, press down. Curl your feet. Good, and keep going and breathing out. Think of your alignment of your spine as well. So watch you're not hanging your head down. So I'm now at my heel and my toes are down. So press into the inner heel. See if you can now go to the outer heel. Good, so just side to side. So then go more to your heel now. I know it feels so good there, doesn't it? That's it. Good. Sometimes people sort of get all sorts of heel pain. It's so common, like a lot of you might have had or heard of like plantar fasciitis. Like these are common things like where there's lots of pain around all the fascia and inflammation. So this is not something that I would say like, you know, do all this rolling if you're feeling like inflamed and heat. This is definitely something you don't want to overdo and go too hard on all the time. Yeah. All right, so let's strip back through the middle and curl your foot around the ball like a bird on a perch. Pause halfway. Good, and now take it all the way to the ball of the foot where you're really stretching out that whole foot. And we can do plenty of more foot things. This is just your foundation footwork. All right, now I'm going to strip down the outer edge. So stripping. Good. Yeah. All right, you should now all be on your heel with your toes down, your outer heel. Good, and now let's release and we'll sit down and do your Achilles on your left. So positioning the ball here on the outer part of your ankles, very close to your ankle bone. And your left thigh bone is turned out. So press the body weight up and then in to the leg. So you might find you don't need to add extra body weight, like you can still stay seated down. And that's the outer left. So find that tender spot. And then if you wanted to add more weight when you hold the leg still, you could also hook the other leg on top. And then that's pressing down more. It's kind of a nice pain, but don't you think? It's like, it's doing good, everybody. And if it doesn't feel like a nice pain, then it's too much, like just back off a little. Good, and then turn and roll your thigh in. Find the groove on the inner ankle and strip. So you're moving your leg and your body forward and back. So some of the times when you do this, like if you did this before going for a walk, you might really notice like this lovely ankle mobility. It makes such a difference. Yeah, thinking about your feet and ankles. I think I often say to you, like Pilates used to be like an hour and a half and 15 minutes. It was compulsory that you had to do like footwork. Not so much this, but sometimes. But it was a really huge part of Pilates was feeling great feet. And when you really have good range in your feet and strengthen your feet, it's one of those things you think, oh, everything improves. Like you're walking, you really notice it. So let's stand up now on our feet. So let's just check, like, can you tuck your left foot under you and try and have all those knuckles on the ground? Maybe drag your foot more forward and just bend into your right leg a little. And notice maybe if your foot feels very tender. So this isn't like up on a toe. You're trying to actually curl the toes under you more. Good. Change sides. Come on to not the toenails, the toe knuckles. So bend your left knee more to tuck it under you. That's it. And then drag it forward if it's a little more. All right, now just walk around on the spot, maybe twirl through your ankles. Good. And then come back and pick all 10 toes up. Notice like if the weight is even across the ball of your foot, and then spread your toes out. Good, and again, pick them up. We used to have to do an exercise where you'd have to place them down like 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd big toe. Articulate them, lift them up again. And then spread them out. Good. Balance up on your toes all the way and just pedaling through your feet. Bend one knee, lift up, and then change. Beautiful, fabulous feet, everybody. Thank you for staying on, supporting our little trigger point bonus class. So see you next week. Goodbye, Sophia, and everyone that's watching the recording. Think about your feet all day. Have a great day.
What do you guys think? Is it 15 minutes enough? Yeah? For now. For now. Yeah. Yeah. Otherwise, we'd be late Friday.